What if I told you that one of the most famous monuments in the world was once just an impossible dream, a dream so massive that people believed it could never be built, and yet today, it stands taller than history itself, welcoming millions of people with a torch of hope? The Statue of Liberty is not just a monument in New York Harbor, it is a symbol of freedom, survival, and the dreams of humanity. But the real story behind Lady Liberty is far more emotional, powerful, and inspiring than most people could ever imagine. The story begins in France during the 19th century. At that time, the United States was becoming a global symbol of democracy and liberty. A French historian named Édouard René de Laboulaye admired America deeply. He believed freedom was one of the greatest ideas humanity had ever created, and he wanted to celebrate the friendship between France and the United States with a gift unlike anything the world had ever seen. That gift would become the Statue of Liberty. Laboulaye shared his vision with a talented sculptor named Frédéric Auguste Bartholdi, and from that moment, the impossible journey began. Bartholdi imagined a gigantic woman standing proudly over the ocean, holding a glowing torch high into the sky. The torch would represent enlightenment and hope. In her other hand, she would carry a tablet marked with July 4, 1776, the birth of American independence. At her feet would lie broken chains, symbolizing freedom from oppression and slavery, but creating such a gigantic monument was almost impossible. It required enormous amounts of money, engineering genius, and years of dedication. People from across France donated whatever they could. Some gave coins, some organized events, and some worked tirelessly to support the project. Everyone believed they were building something that would inspire the entire world. To make the statue strong enough to survive storms and powerful winds, Bartholdi worked with the brilliant engineer Gustave Eiffel, the same man who would later create the Eiffel Tower. Eiffel designed a revolutionary iron skeleton hidden inside the statue, allowing the copper exterior to move with the wind without breaking. Meanwhile, hundreds of workers spent years shaping giant copper sheets by hand using traditional techniques. Slowly, the face, the robes, the arms, and the famous torch began to take shape, and finally the impossible started becoming reality. When the statue was completed in France, it was so enormous that it had to be taken apart into hundreds of separate pieces and packed into giant crates. In 1885, the pieces crossed the Atlantic Ocean and arrived in New York Harbor. People gathered near the docks in excitement as workers carefully unloaded the crates onto Liberty Island. In 4 months, construction workers rebuilt the monument piece by piece under the burning sun and freezing winds. Then, on October 28, 1886, the world witnessed history. The Statue of Liberty was officially unveiled before thousands of cheering people. Ships filled the harbor, horns echoed across New York, and fireworks exploded through the night sky. President Grover Cleveland accepted the monument as a gift from France, and from that moment, Lady Liberty became one of the greatest symbols of freedom the world had ever seen. But the most emotional chapter of the story had only just begun. During the late 19th and early 20th centuries, millions of immigrants traveled across dangerous oceans searching for a better life. They escaped poverty, war, hunger, and suffering. Many spent weeks trapped inside crowded ships with little food and no certainty about their future. Then, suddenly, through the fog of New York Harbor, they saw something unforgettable, a giant torch rising above the water. For exhausted families, the Statue of Liberty became more than a monument. It became hope itself. Many immigrants cried the moment they saw her because they believed their pain was finally coming to an end. To them, Lady Liberty meant freedom, a new beginning, and the chance to dream again. Years later, a poem called The New Colossus, written by Emma Lazarus, was placed inside the pedestal. One line became legendary: "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free." Those words transformed the Statue of Liberty into a universal symbol of compassion and humanity. Through wars, economic crises, and national tragedies, the statue continued standing tall. She watched generations rise and fall. She witnessed history change around her. But no matter how dark the world became, Lady Liberty never lowered her torch. And maybe that is why the Statue of Liberty still touches millions of hearts even today, because it reminds humanity that freedom is precious, hope is powerful, and even the impossible can become reality when people dare to dream together. More than 100 years later, the torch of Lady Liberty still shines across New York Harbor, not just as a light for America, but as a light for the entire world.